the War Council decided to dispatch British troops to the area and use the Australian and New Zealand troops training in Egypt to aid the Navy. The plan was to sail through to the Ottoman capital Istanbul, knock the Ottoman Empire out of the war, and open the route to Britain's ally, Russia.
Some people see it as the anniversary, or one of the only countries that celebrates the anniversary of one of its worst defeats in nationhood. Others see it as the defining moment that brought Australians together immediately after they became a country. So it was in the first, we became a federation of Australia in 1901, and so 1915 was only 14 years later.
The mission of the Australians was very simple. Landing on the western part of the peninsula, passing through a small hill, and would reach flat area, see, here, and they would reach the fortresses defending the peninsula. They would have achieved their mission. That was the idea. But they landed some 2 kilometers north, further north here. Situation, terrain, geography, everything totally different. When they landed here, yes, they saw a small hill, but there was another one behind it, which was higher. Another one, because this is the most mountainous part of the peninsula. And high places were held by Turks. There were advantages, right?
My grandfather wanted to sign up in the war, wanted to enlist, but they rejected him because he had shot himself in the foot while climbing through a fence chasing rabbits.
So actually, not just figuratively, shot himself in the foot.
So he was rejected. And then one of his friends said that there was a boat coming down from North Queensland with a few spare places, and they wouldn't be so choosy. So they both went to Tasmania and were signed on, and they came to Gallipoli, and he was very fortunate that he came home. Yes, he wrote a lot of letters home.
What was his impression of the experience?
The friendship, but also the just terrible futility of the whole thing, and ghastly conditions.
So he must have seen an awful lot.
He did. He was a bit fortunate in that he was in charge of stores, which is probably why he got to come home.
Where we're going next is ANZAC Cove.
He was there.
He was there. And do you remember him at all? I mean, do you have?
Oh yes.
Did he talk about it?
Never.
Never?
No. And he was a very jovial, sociable person.
Yeah.
But it did have lasting ramifications with him, and he never spoke about it.
So now how do you know much about this? Is through letters, or have you done your own research?
My mum.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was his name? What was your grandfather's name?
Griffith Grant Stevenson.
There's the Sphinx. This is the area where the ANZAC ceremony is April 25th every year.
Oh, we've got a few. But it was just part of family history, really, not anything that was glorified or hidden or anything like that.
Right.
Because so many people, or sort of every male in that generation fought, so it wasn't really so different to anyone else's family history.
And the next generation all went to the Second World War, so no one really needed to talk about it a lot. And I think something as personal as that. If someone wants to talk about it, they will. If they don't,
Right.
Yeah.
you don't really ask them.
You don't remember your grandfather ever marching in a parade or anything along?
Occasionally he used to go back to, because he had to go to Tasmania to enlist. He was from Victoria. He did go back a few times and march.
Right.
But family finances wouldn't have allowed it very often.
Your son's taking a photo of you videoing other people.
I think it's good to have the commemorative area, because it should never be forgotten. And it's actually interesting to get quite a lot of the history from the Turkish perspective.
Okay. After the war, many books were written down. One of them belongs to Lord Casey. He was the first lieutenant during the campaign, serving for the army, and later to become Australian Governor General. He describes the first day thus on his book. There was a heavy fighting between Turks and the ANZACs after the landing. A ceasefire was done, and there were so many casualties. Each side returned to their trenches, but they couldn't move because slightest movement was going to break the ceasefire. At that moment, something interesting happened. A cry came from between two trench lines from a British captain who was seriously wounded in the leg, and he was crying for help, but because of the reason that I mentioned, nobody could leave their trenches. Right that moment, something incredible happened. A Turkish soldier, very well built, appeared, started walking towards the British captain. He raised him up in his arms and carried him towards our trenches, placed him down gently and went back to his trench. Realized that only one battalion would not be enough for this attack, and he ordered his best regiment, 57th Regiment. And 57th Regiment, Mustafa Kemal managed to stop ANZAC advance. Why I'm telling this, I'm not trying to point out achievements of Mustafa Kemal or Turkish soldiers. I'm trying to point out, underline the significance of the high places.
Those of us who survive will be tormented by this fiasco, even though it was no fault of ours. We fought well and suffered dreadfully. We could not do more, but in the end we deserted them. Joe Murray.
I found the inscriptions on the graves from the families very moving. That's about it.
Yeah.